Yes. Uh, Before I wish to share you my story, I just wanted to share with you. I was 19-year-old and I met Dr. Abdul Kalam, fortunately, and he asked me that the information of career should reach to millions of young Indians. And I, as a young student, asked him, how can I reach so many youth? And then he answered in a very significant manner. He said, if a person dies, agar बंदा गुजर जाता है तो उसको 4 लोग मिलते हैं कंधे देने के लिए. आप तो एक नौजवान इंसान हैं, आपको 4 से ज़्यादा मिल जाएंगे. एंड दैट्स हाउ माय जर्नी स्टार्टेड मच बिफोर द CSR लॉ केम इन 2007. और उसके बाद की स्टोरी आपके सामने मैं रखने जा रहा हूँ. नॉट मोर अबाउट माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बट मोर अबाउट हाउ स्किलिंग इंडिया इज़ हेल्पिंग एंड हाउ वी आर डूइंग इट. I'm just coming from Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, one of the town in Maharashtra, and what has happened there is a group of industries have come together. They said there is a problem of identifying the human resources. All of them have pulled their own money and said, now we want the skill development to happen. We are going to call it Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar University, and somebody has to anchor it. I'm coming from that meeting, so the problem has changed into an opportunity for those young entrepreneurs who are looking at, and group of industrialists are coming together. On that note, I want to share a small video about us. Next.
As a CSR implementation organization trust working in the sector of education and skill development since 2007, Friends Union for Energizing Lives, FUEL, stems from the understanding that the youth in India form one of the most vulnerable groups, who on the one hand are expected to be the leaders to determine the destiny of India, and on the other lack essential information and opportunities to succeed in life. Taking this into account, founder Mr. Ketan Deshpande along with his chief mentor Mr. Santosh Huralikoppi initially began conducting sessions for class 12 students, wherein they provided them thorough assistance on all educational prospects. But over the last 15 plus years, FUEL has scaled up. FUEL also focuses on women empowerment by working towards girls' education, and is supporting more than 600,000 girls through scholarships and skilling initiatives.
In past 15 years, we have worked in a way that government, policymakers, CSR partners and industry partners are with us from day one.
I congratulate the entire FUEL team for the remarkable work done by them over the years. Since inception, FUEL has been the guiding light for the future of our youth.
I would like to congratulate the FUEL team for taking up this important endeavor of launching the FUEL Future Skills Institute. I hope that through this endeavor, you will be able to achieve the impact and the momentum that you envision.
All of us in the industry congratulate FUEL for their vision, and they have helped the youth reach newer heights.
I'm glad to see that you have finally achieved the goal you have been working towards so many years.
FUEL has been appreciated by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and Honorable former President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind ji. And FUEL's founder, Mr. Ketan Deshpande, has been awarded the Mahatma Award. FUEL was invited to represent India at Stanford University's Global Entrepreneurship Summit, and also had the opportunity to work with the Prime Minister of Poland as well as the First Lady of Uganda. On its quest to empower women, FUEL also contributes to societal welfare by granting scholarships to the girl children of Army Jawans, martyrs, and families of Army personnel. FUEL has its presence across 137 Army public schools in India and supports 75,000 plus defense school students and districts under Aspirational District Program by Niti Aayog. Over the course of their existence, Friends Union for Energizing Lives is enabling students to excel by making substantial contributions by partnering with 3,500 plus schools and colleges across India and changing the lives of more than 1.1 million students. Fuel is on a mission to become Fuel Skill Tech and Entrepreneurship University, influencing more lives.
Thank you. This is the background in which I have worked, and I'm fortunate to work with very good CSR leaders. And I think recently Anurag sir was here speaking, Ritesh ji was speaking. I've been very fortunate to work along with them on some of the projects, and that really shaped a lot of my work in making it happen. So these are the 5 points which I wish to share on the topic given to me. Understanding the skill gap, very important. We represented fuel at World Economic Forum Davos in January, and along with the land, building and electricity, human resources skilling gap is also critical. And what we have done now is in Pune, Sambhajinagar, Nagpur and Nashik, these 4 districts where the investments are coming in Davos in Maharashtra, we have identified those areas where the future manpower is required. And we have collaborated with industries so that the mapping can be done and the jobs could be provided. CSR role in skill development. This has been a phenomenal journey. I think government started with the scheme of NSDC, then with the DDJKY and several other schemes. Now we have gone to an extent where the Prime Minister internship is also there. So from providing skills, from providing human development to the financial budget outlay to the skill development, to an extent where the Prime Minister's internship is being implemented. Phenomenal scheme. We are collaborating with a lot of leading companies on this. This is a very critical element, and it has come to an extent where youth can get opportunity to go into the top 500 companies. And this is possible with the Prime Minister's internship scheme. Future-ready workforce. The new technology, Digital India, Make in India, and Skill India, all of these need quality human resources. And we are talking about exporting our human resources. We every day listen to what happens in US or see the Twitter what President Trump has tweeted the next. So it's all on us, on our Indian economy now, for us to grow. And for that, I think we need future-ready workforce. The 4th point is empowering underserved communities. Now, these underserved communities have fire in their belly. I have girls or boys who come from a background where they live in a 100 square feet house. Their meager income of around 5,000 to 10,000 rupees in a family. Those kind of backgrounds, but they have fire in their belly. They have potential to do something very rewarding. And I can tell you there are n number of examples where these girls come from so much poverty, but yet go into an MNC company. And that's the story of our India. We have so many girls who aspire to become the future-ready workforce. So serving the underserved community is very important. And finally, the technology and innovation in skilling. No longer the youth only looks after the brands who only give the salary packages. There are young people who are asking in their placement, what does the brand do as a society, as a social responsibility? I think these are the 6 broader steps which I learned. And I just completed my PhD in efficacy of skilling. And that's the model I wanted to present to you. Next slide, please. Before I speak, this is what the top funding industries of CSR are. BFSI is contributing, and we just had a presentation from HDFC Bank. You can understand why BFSI is one of the prominent funder for CSR initiatives. We have Sridharji from Tata Capital. So BFSI is something which is very significantly contributing. Oil, gas, of course, public sector units, and IT, ITS. So if you are a non-profit organization wanting to attract your contribution towards your initiative, I think these are the top 3 sectors which you should definitely look at, because they provide maximum support of financials for the program. So before you shortlist, think whether you are part of this top 3 sectors. That will really help. If you look at the report, which many of these reports are coming in, but pan-India projects are the highlight, and Maharashtra has the largest capital share of CSR. Of course, the headquarters are in Mumbai, so definitely it has a larger share, but other states are also merging. So I have appealed to many chief ministers, and in fact, I have been not shying away from partnership with government, and many of my partners are doing partnership with government, where we are telling the similar way you put the investments, you put the same CSR investment policies. And I'm very glad to share some of the CSR policies which are coming in from the government are contribute 50% equal contribution. So if you bring 100 rupees on the table of CSR, we will also contribute the equal contribution. And we just passed that scheme in Government of Maharashtra. So there are new models which are emerging. What is the framework which I wish to present, and that's what my topic is. CSR can be catalyst to bridge the skilling divide. We must transform our demographic dividend into economic power. To reach rural youth, tribal areas, aspirational district and first generation learners, we mainstream systems often overlook these segments. CSR enables access, dignity and livelihoods where it is needed most, and transformation happens when we invest where others don't. Impact is not just employment, it's economic and social upliftment. And based on this model, which is on a theoretical framework, which a lot of research has gone, if you establish the scope and identify the right stakeholders, if you do the mapping of the outcomes, you evidence the outcomes and then the availability, establish impact, calculate the social return on investment, and then the reporting and embedding. I think these are the 6 steps which everyone can do into the skilling initiatives specifically. And as Anurag sir was saying from Capgemini, that whatever small you start, that time you really do a lot of hiccups. I'm a product of that. When I started very small, everybody said you are a very small organization. What impact you will do? You need to increase your balance sheet. When we increased our balance sheet, when it became bigger and bigger, now people say it's too big now, what is the need of doing it? But when you become bigger, you need it more. But you need to explain that, and you need more responsibility to that. And that is why you don't only depend on CSR resources, but you also have to have your strategic alignment of having a backup resources. How I am doing blended finance, I am doing patient capital, I am doing HNIs, I am doing my alumni funding. So all this typically, totally if we work on, then the project proposals and the funds will start coming in. So those who are looking at that kind of investments, I think you should definitely start with it and then the funds will flow in. And these are the very important thing: resources, competitive advantage and performance. So inspired by the grassroots leaders and change makers, stories of young people overcoming odds motivate our work. Purpose driven, skill formation, employment stability, earning potential and community building. If these are the hypotheses and quality of learning is in between, along with need identification and skilling strategy. So no longer people do only philanthropy, they do strategic philanthropy. So one example I would like to give to you, there is a company of electric wires. They want to support the scholarship of electrician children. There is a company who wants to work for the mechanics, two-wheeler mechanics. They want to support the two-wheeler mechanics in advanced learning of electrical vehicles and also support a scholarship of the mechanics children. Now these kind of models are happening. Classic example, which I work with Capgemini, I will just like to share you with a case story. By the way, this was when the Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Dr. Kalam sir supported and guided us. These are funders. We did 78 funders, raised around 400 crores up till this year from the inception. This is the model in which we work, where the assessment, certification, employment support, mentoring and everything is given along with the L&D of the company. And then finally, we are placing the students in also those corporates or their clients where they are getting jobs. Average salary is in the range of 3 to 5 lakhs per annum. So this is the spectrum, and we have gone one more step ahead. We have done a skill university now, and India is having a lot of skill university focus. In days to come, we will have at least 50 to 60 skilling universities in India, which will be run by industry, implemented by social entrepreneurs. We have a classic PGDM program, where a 2-year program, where the first day the student starts getting the stipend, and at the end of the year he gets employed in that company because he did that curriculum along with strategy which the L&D has given to them. So this is a model which we are doing with different companies. One of the example is we are identifying students from aspirational districts from LTI Mindtree, and where LTI Mindtree is working, and then we are providing them with the PGDM program accredited by AICTE and the university. So this how my journey started, and now it is going into 3 pillars of skill training, counseling, and scholarships. We're working with a lot of IITs. I saw IIT Indore is here. I would like to appeal a lot of elite institutions who need to go to grassroots, and we are working with a lot of IITs, IIMs, so that the infrastructure of these organizations does not remain only to those who pay fees, but to the poorer, weaker sections of society by collaborating with them. And we're participating with a lot of hackathons. We are giving those young people those opportunities so that skill ecosystem can be developed. Lot of ministers, and I wanted to give you an example. The education minister of Maharashtra came to one of my convocation program, and he asked me, how are you funding the girls with zero cost? And I showed him the model that this is how your CSR is funding, this is how the blended finance is happening. And then he said, what it takes for the Maharashtra state to educate free all the girls. And the secretary said it takes around 250 crores. He said, that's hardly any money. Let's give the 250 crores and just finish women education free. And now I'm record breaking on telling you, in Maharashtra, not a single rupee has to be spent by the girl for doing professional education in Maharashtra. This is the model. That's what NGOs can do. If you show to the government that that's what can happen, the entire education of all the 113 professional courses for girls in Maharashtra is free of cost. You can check this news. These are some of the awards. And I also did one thing because I came from Cambridge, so industry-academia partnership is very important to create globally competitive graduates. So what Harvard is there is because person called Harvard donated the money, and that's why Harvard legacy is there. And now Harvard declared that those who are with 200,000 less than annual income, we will give free education. Because somebody called Stanford donated money to Stanford, so that's why Stanford is at this existence. Somebody in Judge Business School of University Cambridge, a lady nurse who called Judge, gave the land and building to Judge Business School. That's why Judge Business School of Cambridge is in existence. So we also have to think that whether legacies should be created. And I'm very proud to share, I followed the similar Western model here. We have launched the Skill University. And who is funding me? Dr. Yusuf Ahmed, at the age of 88 years, founder of CIPLA, is supporting me. The School of Science, School of Management is being supported by one of the very large group who are into financial markets. One of the technology companies supporting me, the School of Digital Technology. These are the individuals who are coming in, not CSR. These are the individuals who are coming in and contributing. So if we can create legacy initiatives, it can really help. And that's what we have been doing. There is process, debate, how we have to select the beneficiaries, do the home visits, do the aptitude tests, do the interviews. So all that creates a lot of deep impact at the grassroots. And these are the 5 schools which we are building. 3 schools we have already got the support, and 2 are in upcoming. These are the students. One comes from Orissa, the other comes from Pune, the other comes from Baramati. Each one have financial hardships to professional success, proof that talent exists everywhere, opportunity does not. Each student is a symbol of impact, real voice validating the model. And to companies like Ascendion, VFS Global, Kalpa Power, all these companies are taking these students. The skilling for sectors with high growth and future demand is very necessary. Creating a pipeline of skilled professionals and entrepreneurs, clear vision backed by data, partnership, and passion can create this kind of innovation. And lastly, I would like to tell you that whatever I learned from the CSR leaders, they are very difficult in beginning to understand because you need to really think what's there in mind 10 years from now. If you give them a proposal which doesn't talk about future, if it doesn't talk about what the future alignment is, probably you will not be in that list of pictures. The second, what I learned from them is be patient. You cannot solve the world's problem and tell them all the things which you can do. Tell them what you really honestly can do, perform, and get their validation. The third thing which I learned is, which Anurag sir said, do with humility. When I started with 2,000 rupees, the same partners were with me. When today the balance sheet has grown so much, or the funds have grown much, the same partners are with me. Because they saw my journey, they saw our journey, and that's how they supported each of the initiatives. And the last thing which I want to tell is the community which gets benefited is also started contributing back. No longer they are not understanding CSR. The community understands the CSR concept. They are entitled beneficiary in some terms because they get a lot of benefits from other schemes. So we have to be very patient with them when they are working with us. And in my work which I did for skilling, we presented this model to the World Economic Forum, and a lot of other countries also are now adopting what India is adopting. So we are working with Indonesian government where we are training 2,000 youth to be provided employment within the Indonesian ecosystem. We are working in Africa, in Uganda specifically, where we are working with the youth for giving them digital skills. So India has looked at that level of solution where you provide the right solutions, the world is ready to accept it. One more thing for the CSR, for the NGO partners is the money of bilateral agencies is getting reduced. The multilateral agencies no longer think India is a poor country because we are at the 5th world's largest economy and emerging to become 3rd. We can't again go and tell that we are a poor country. So it's a good thing that we are being not accepted in what 20 years back we are. So the multilateral agencies' first priority is funding in Africa rather than funding in India. That's a huge dent there. But what another survey is indicating is the HNIs want to support a lot. And it's not only HNIs, it's those who fall into bracket. The giving habit of Indians is changing. If CSR has spent 1 lakh crore from 2014 to 24, the HNI market is 1.5x of that. That's what it is growing at the speed. So don't only look at CSR opportunities, but look at opportunities which are beyond CSR. And I could vouch for it because when I started looking at those opportunities, I understood that it's much more bigger than what we are looking at. And these are all trust-based philanthropy. So the complexity involved in funding and getting a CSR project is of course day by day increasing with a lot of rules, amendments. More than the Microsoft amendment, we get the CSR amendments further on a lighter note. But that's what it is. But the philanthropic money available with the HNIs is increasing tremendously. I could not share much more with the time, but if you wish to know more about this model and how we support, I have written a book called Fuel Your Dreams. It's available on our desk. We would be happy to give it to you a copy, and I'm sure you'll like what the journey has been. Thank you, UBS Forum, for giving me this opportunity. Once again, thank you.